Hey guys, this is Vikash for Skyline Motions, and in this tutorial let's create this very simple looking ink splash kind of slideshow animation inside of DaVinci Resolve 16 without using any third-party plugins. So let's take a new project and get started. Alright, so click on this new project and let's call it Ink Splash. And click on create, and let's do some basic settings. So click on this setting button and set the size of this project 1920 by 1080, and let's go with 30 frame per second and set this playback frame rate 30 and click on save. And now let's create slideshow animation inside of this Fusion tab. So we have to take a new Fusion composition. So go to media pool, right click on that, click on new Fusion composition, and I'm going to call it Fusion comp and set it 5 second long, frame rate 30, and click on create and drag this Fusion comp on this timeline like that, and then go to your Fusion tab. And here we have our media out node. So just drag this media out to the side for now and go to media pool, right click on that, click on import media and select your image that you want to use in this project and select this paper texture, select this particle file and select this splash. And you can download all these files from link given in the description and click on open. And now let's import this paper texture first and drag this to the viewer and hit F2 on the keyboard to rename, and let's call it paper. Hit enter, and as you can see it has a different size proportion. So select this paper and add a crop node. So hit Ctrl plus a space bar for search box and add a crop node to fit this image and drag this crop to the viewer, and as you can see it's perfect, and click on fit button. All right, and now select this crop and add a color corrector node with this and drag this color corrector to the viewer and set the saturation value 0.5 and hit enter and make it like that. And let's import your image file. So I'm using this one. So just drag this image on this flow window and hit F2 on the keyboard to rename, and let's call it image. And drag this image to the viewer and select this image and add a color corrector node with this and drag this color corrector to the viewer, and let's down the saturation value 0 and make it pure black and white and add a transform node with this. So select this and add a transform node, drag this transform to the viewer, and let's create a scale animation on it. So go to the end of this animation and right click on size, click on animate, or you can also click on this diamond button to create a keyframe on scale property and go to very beginning of this animation and set this scale value 1.15 and hit enter. All right, and now select this transform and add a directional blur node. So hit Ctrl plus a space bar for search box and search for directional blur. So this is our directional blur. Hit add button and drag this directional blur to the viewer and set this blur length value 0.02 and hit enter, and as you can see it's looking something like this. And now let's merge these both outputs. So take a merge node and connect this yellow point with this color corrector 1 and connect this green point with this directional blur and drag this merge 1 to the viewer. And now select this merge 1 and go to this inspector window and set this blend value 0.25 and hit enter, and it's looking something like this. All right, and now select these three nodes, hit Ctrl C to copy and create another copy of this. So hit Ctrl V to paste, and now just delete this second image and connect the output of this image with this color corrector and set this image over here and drag this to the viewer. And now select this color corrector and go to this saturation and set the saturation value 0.25 and hit enter. And now let's import ink splash footage. So drag this splash on this flow window, drag it to the viewer, and now let's make this white background transparent. So select this, hit F2 on the keyboard to rename, and let's call it ink. Hit enter and select this one, hit Ctrl plus a space bar for search box and search for Luma Kia and select this Luma, hit add button, hit F2 on the keyboard to rename, and let's call it Luma. Hit OK and drag this Luma to the viewer and check this option invert and let's do some adjustment. So set this expand value something around 0.2, hit enter. So it's looking perfect. And take a merge node, so click on this merge button and connect this yellow background point with this luma and connect this green point with this transform and drag this merge to the viewer and select this merge to and go to this inspector window and change this operator over to in. And as you can see, we have a nice ink splash kind of effect. And now let's take another merge node, so click on this merge button and connect this yellow point with this merge 1 and green point with this merge 2 and drag this merge 3 to the viewer and hold alt and create a junction. And now select this second transform and go to very beginning of this animation and set this scale value 1.2 and hit enter and close this media pool for now. And now select this ink and add a transform node after this ink and click on fit button first and let's scale it up a bit and set it like that. And now select these three nodes and hit Ctrl C to copy and paste another copy over here and connect this foreground with this background and drag this merge 4 to the viewer. And now select this second transform and just delete it and let's take another fresh new transform node. So just select this and click on transform button to add another new transform node and select this transform 3 and uncheck this option and use this X and Y separately and remove this transform and attach this transform after this luma node like that and set the size of this and set this over here maybe. All right, and now we have to create a text node, so click on this text button to add a text node, drag this text to the viewer and let's type your text whatever you want to type. So I'm typing ink splash slideshow. And select your favorite font style. So in this case, I'm using this Century Gothic, which is my favorite font style. And of course, you can choose any different font style that you want. And now let's animate this tracking amount. So go to the end of this animation, right click on tracking, click on animate and go to very beginning of this animation and set this tracking something around 1.1 and hit enter. And now we have a tracking animation. All right, and then right click on this and click on character label styling and go to modifier and select this slideshow and let's scale it up a bit. All right, and select all this text and go to transform and change this to lines and set the line spacing like that. All right, and connect this foreground with this background and drag this merge 5 to the viewer. And now select this text and set it over here. And now let's create ink splash effect on this text. So select these node, hit Ctrl C to copy and paste another copy over here and select this luma and click on this transform. All right, and just deattach this for a second and place it over here and connect this yellow point with this transform and drag this merge 5 to the viewer and select this transform 4 and just down the size of this and place it over here on this area. And now I want to place this ink splash inside of this text, so select this merge 5 and change this over to in. All right, and now we have a ink splash kind of reveal on our text. And now we have to connect this merge 5 with this merge 4. So connect this foreground with this background and we get this new merge and drag this merge 6 to the viewer. And I want to reveal this text after 1 second. So set the CTI on frame number 30, which is equal to 1 second according to 30 FPS, and go to keyframes and hit F4 to full screen. And let's increase the size of this, click on fit button and just select this ink 1 and drag this on frame number 30 and select this ink underscore 1 and just drag this on frame number 30. Alright, and now hit F4 to exit and close these keyframes and increase the size of this. And now let's create a light leak effect. So we have to take a fast noise node. So hit Ctrl plus a spacebar for search box and search for fast noise. So this is our fast noise. Hit add button, drag this fast noise to the viewer and go to this inspector window and let's do some basic settings. So set the details 0.5 and set this contrast maybe 5 and set this brightness negative 1.0 and set this a scale value something around 1. And now we have to animate this seed value. So right click on seed, click on expression and let's type a time expression on it. So I'm going to type time multiply by 0.005 and hit enter. And now let's play this. And as you can see, we have something like that. All right, and now let's merge this fast noise with a black background. So take a background node and connect this foreground with this background and drag this merge 7 to the viewer and select this merge 7 and add a color corrector node with this and drag this color corrector to the viewer and let's pick a nice color and just drag it over here and connect this foreground with this background and we get new merge 8 and just drag this merge 8 to the viewer and select this merge 8 and go to this inspector window and change the supply mode normal to screen. All right, and now let's import one more thing. So go to media pool and let's import this particle on this flow window and drag this particle to the viewer and make it black and white. So select this and add a color corrector node and drag this color corrector 4 to the viewer and down the saturation value and make it black and white and let's merge it. So connect this foreground with this background and connect this merge 9 to the viewer and select this merge 9, go to this inspector window and change the supply mode normal to screen. And now close this media pool and it's almost done. So finally we have to connect media out node with our main final output node. So connect this with this media out and then go to your edit tab and as you can see slideshow animation is ready for render. So click on this loop button and let's have a look. Alright, so it's looking awesome and that's all for this tutorial guys. I hope you like it. If you like it, then hit the subscribe button and click on the bell icon to get notified when I will upload my new video and I will see you in next tutorial. Till then, bye bye.